Because Star Wars is so great, we look past some obvious flaws, such as, why is there noise in space? Why is space romance so bad? However, there are some things we just can't get over. And no, I'm not talking about the prequels. I'm talking about plot holes. Whether it was George Lucas failing to tie up loose ends in episodes 1 to 3, or backwards technology because of when the original trilogy was released, there are a ton of plot holes in the Star Wars films. So let's take a look at the top 10. Number 10. What Death Star plans? A New Hope kicks off with a Star Destroyer chasing down the Tantive 4. Why is this? Well, the Galactic Empire are trying to get back possession of Death Star plans, stolen by the Rebel Alliance. With that being said, after Darth Vader and his troops eliminate most of the crew, taking Princess Leia prisoner, Imperial officers decide to not destroy an escape pod because there are no life forms on board. But let's back up a little. The Empire are after the Death Star plans, meaning the rebels are definitely not wanting to hand them over easily. Did it not occur to the Imperials that the escape pod might contain the vital information? Those guys definitely got sacked. Or worse, Vader does not like failure. Number 9. Stuck in the 80s. The original trilogy films were huge landmarks in cinema, blowing away audiences all across the world in the late 70s and early 80s. However, because the prequels came out over 15 years afterwards, the transition of technology between the trilogies is laughable. I know, this one seems a little harsh since it's something that was out of Lucasfilm's control, but you can't help thinking, why has the Empire gone from using iPhone 6S's to Nokia 3310s? Okay, maybe that is not the example we're looking for, but you get my point. Furthermore, technology was introduced in the prequels which would have really come in handy in episodes 4 to 6, like the rocket boosters R2-D2 fires out in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, which don't appear at all in the original trilogy. I've actually talked about this whole backward technology matter before in Star Wars Lore episode 44, where I give some reasons as to why Lucas may have gotten away with it. You should check it out. Cheap plugs. Cheap plugs. Number 8. Leia must have an amazing memory. Let me ask you a question. Do you remember seeing your mother's face when you were born? No? Well, don't worry, it's perfectly normal, unless you're Princess Leia Organa. In the original trilogy, when Luke asks if she remembers her real mother, Leia says the following: "Just a little bit. She died when I was very young. She was very beautiful, kind, but sad." When this was mentioned in Return of the Jedi, yes, episode 6, not A New Hope like I said in episode 7 of Star Wars Lore, thanks for pointing out my huge blunder guys, it was all fine and dandy. However, Revenge of the Sith came out 22 years later and ruined everything. How could a little Leia remember her mother when she was like 0.5 seconds old? Once again, there is an excuse for it, which I talk about in the lore episode just mentioned, but this just seems like another thing Lucas forgot about when filming the prequels. Number 7. Forgetful Ben. That awkward moment when you forget someone's existence. Yes, we all purposefully try to forget ex-partners and certain siblings, but Ben Kenobi seems to have forgot about someone entirely by accident. Who has old Ben forgot? The very person we were just talking about, Leia. In episode 5, Obi-Wan claims to Yoda the following about Luke Skywalker: "That boy is our last hope." However, Yoda replies, "No, there is another." It seems ludicrous that Kenobi forgets all about Leia since he witnessed her birth and was there when she was handed over to Bail Organa. The only explanation is that Ben went a bit senile in his old age. Number 6. Was Kenobi a clone? Speaking of Kenobi's old age, how come he seems to have grown in age so rapidly in only just under 19 years? Maybe he was injected with some of that clone trooper rapid growth treatment, hence the title of this part of the countdown. Though he definitely wasn't a clone, it was just something that would pique interest. It's like clickbait within a video. Wow, that is next level. Anyway, Ewan McGregor was in his early 30s during the filming of Revenge of the Sith, whilst Alec Guinness was around 30 years older during A New Hope. Plus, he was made to look older for the part. It is really unbelievable that Obi-Wan has become an old man in such a short period of time. Number 5. Hiding in plain sight. No one in the Star Wars universe is good at hiding, apart from Yoda, I guess. Leia is adopted by Bail Organa and Queen Bria. Let's be honest, being a princess is not subtle. Luke keeps his second name and lives on the homeworld of his father. Again, not subtle. And Kenobi keeps his second name whilst wearing his Jedi robes. Definitely not subtle. You would think that because the Jedi are being hunted, he'd not wear his robes and completely change his name. But Kenobi just doesn't give two Felicias, apparently. Seriously, Galactic Empire, it should have been a lot easier finding these free. Number 4. No one remembers anything! Seriously, I'm not exaggerating with that title. It seems like everyone just forgets stuff in the Star Wars universe. Firstly, Kenobi, once more showing he's a bit senile, seems to have forgotten years and years spent with R2-D2 and C-3PO when reintroduced to them in A New Hope. Secondly, Owen Lars doesn't recognise C-3PO either, so Anakin Skywalker built the droid, though not fully, for his mother, who married Cliegg Lars. C-3PO spent many years working on the family's farm and with Owen in the process. Though the two were split for many years, you'd think Owen would recognise the droid. Fair enough, there are many protocol droids like him, but come on, Owen. Just while we're on the topic, R2-D2 knows a lot of information that he doesn't tell Luke. Key information. Fair enough, C-3PO never tells Luke about his real father or anything like that, because his memory gets wiped at the end of episode 3. But what's R2's excuse? Not only does he not really care for seeing Obi-Wan again, but he doesn't tell Luke anything about his father during the original trilogy, even though they were basically glued together throughout the prequels and the Clone Wars. Maybe R2 was playing along with Kenobi and not telling Luke the cold hard truth, but you'd think he'd at least say, "Yo Luke, that's your sister, man." Number 3. How come Anakin became a Force ghost? Remember the iconic scene where Obi-Wan is fighting Darth Vader and he says, "If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you could possibly imagine." Though we can't see his face because of, a big black mask, Vader has no idea what is going on and just goes along with it, killing his former master. Vader really doesn't know how Kenobi could become more powerful. You could say he doesn't know what a Force ghost is. Furthermore, it takes many years to learn how to acquire this ability. It took Kenobi nearly all of his exile, for example, which is why there aren't thousands of Force ghosts roaming the land saying the Empire are pure evil. Anakin doesn't know of the ability and doesn't train for it, so how does he become a Force ghost at the end of Return of the Jedi? The counter argument is that he was taught by Palpatine and his training was completed at the point of death when Yoda and Kenobi allowed him to be seen by Luke. But the counter argument to that is it was Qui-Gon Jinn who learned of the skill and taught others. Why would Palpatine be spreading around post-death Jedi cheer? The real answer is a convenient happy ending. That's really it. Number 2. The young Anakin? Not only does the fact that Anakin appears as a Force ghost irritate a lot of fans, the icing on the cake is the special edition changes which have him as the younger version of himself. In the original version of episode 6, the Force ghost was portrayed by Sebastian Shaw, who had played Vader moments before his death, therefore making a whole lot of sense. However, Lucas later changed Anakin's appearance to Hayden Christensen, the actor who played Skywalker in episodes 2 and 3, therefore making no sense at all. How come Anakin gets to be young again? Why is Obi-Wan not the Ewan McGregor version? If you go by the logic of the appearances are from Luke's memory of them, it makes even less sense. When did we ever see Hayden Christensen in the original trilogy beforehand? I honestly have no idea why Lucas done it. Number 1. Luke becomes a Jedi in only a few hours. In The Empire Strikes Back, Luke begins Jedi training from Yoda. However, he leaves early to save his friends from danger on Cloud City. But when he returns to Dagobah in the sequel, Yoda tells him he has nothing more to learn. He will become a Jedi if he defeats Darth Vader. This means that he was fully trained to verse a Sith Lord in only a few hours, literally an afternoon. It's a big Felicia you to all the Jedi younglings in the prequels. Apparently their training is being dragged out quite a bit. Let me know what you think about these plot holes, and if you enjoyed the video, let me know also, and I will make another top 10. Thanks for watching, and for more Star Wars related content, keep it locked here to the Countdowns. But when the film came out, it became clear he was just the cutest, coolest, funniest little droid ever. And when he used his lighter as a thumbs up, if that doesn't make him the best thing ever, then I don't know what will.